Welcome to the Community Forum. My name is John Guglielmino. I'm your host. This evening we're doing part 2 of the Exchange Club of Danbury, and we're going to have a very interesting program having to do with the veterans and the history of the Exchange and membership requirements and all those sort of things. But without further ado, let me introduce our distinguished panel tonight. We have Terry Whalen, the president, is sitting down there at the end. We have Bob Lefevre, the secretary slash historian, and he's a very good historian. And then we have David Treadwell, who you're going to be talking about the parade. Right, the Memorial Day
John,
Parade.
I'm also the treasurer.
Yeah, you're also the treasurer. That I forgot. Okay.
And past president. We're all past presidents.
You're all past presidents, but we, somebody, at some point in time, we got to, yield anyway. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, the people that are out there that haven't seen you before, how you got involved with the Exchange.
Well, John, thank you for asking me that question. I was probably involved very early in life because my father, Clyde Treadwell, was a charter member of the Danbury Exchange Club way back in 1947. And so I got to know as a little kid what the Exchange Club was doing, and I was most interested that they were going to start the Little League Baseball because I was just about that age. But lo and behold, the Exchange Club started at 1 year after I was ineligible because of age. So I did know about the Exchange Club, and many of my friends, as I later on in life, were members of the Exchange Club, and finally twisted my arm to say, this is something you want to do, and I'm sure happy that they did ask me to join because we do so many marvelous things for the community.
Very good, and well spoken. Robert?
I joined almost 40 years ago, and the programs of service that are involved with this club were very attractive to me, especially the citizenship, the American Citizenship Program, and the fact of Little League and all of the community service projects that they do. And I knew at that time, there were about 60 members at that time. I knew more than half of them personally anyways. So it was very comfortable for me when I joined, but it took maybe a year or more to learn all of the facets, the committees, the officers and the programs and so forth. And that's how I got started, and just went up and up. David and I were both Connecticut district directors, which is
so the next step
going
up.
a step up, and but we kind of like to stay in Danbury, and do things.
Not
for
have to
Danbury.
drive as much.
Not to drive as much.
You're right. Yeah, you could put on 20, 30,000 miles or more.
There's so many clubs that you need to visit all the time and induct people. It's a tremendous amount of work for 1 year.
Right.
Yes, it is. You've got to be really committed, but it's. You get good feelings about doing something like that, serving at the district level.
Very good. Terry?
Yes, I've been a member I'm approaching my 10-year anniversary.
You're a youngster compared to these guys.
Well, I'm just a slow learner. It took me a long time to get that.
Oh, come on, Terry.
I was attracted to the club just because of the number of activities they have and all the community activities. Starting with the prevention of child abuse, recognition of the Fireman of the Year, recognition of the Policeman of the Year, Police Officer of the Year, and the Youth of the Year, the Young Citizenship. So it's just a dynamic club, and there are 25 meetings a year, and almost every one is a program of service to recognize people. So, and tonight we have one of our biggest and most popular programs is the Veterans, along with the Memorial Day Parade. And the So Proudly We Hail is in there as well with the flag.
Okay.
So,
All right, why don't we start with the special things you may have coming up because we're not that far away from parade time.
That's right, John. It's
yeah.
going to be Monday, May 25th, and our club will be marching once again, handing out the American flag to youngsters.
So that's your group, the ones that are handing out.
Well, I'm part of it. Yes.
Okay.
It's give a kid a flag to wave, and we go the entire route of the parade from Rose Street down to the park, passing out American flags to the youngsters to wave and be proud of. And it's almost 5,000 flags that the club is able to distribute. And that's through the generosity of businesses and individuals that support that project. And being the treasurer, I fully am aware of the support we get. And we really appreciate it.
That's quite a bit of support there for 5,000 flags. Wow.
It's different.
Yeah. I think
to pass that many out.
The individuals that we solicit for funding for that project themselves are very proud or have had people serving our country, and that's why they're very quick to do it.
Okay, so you have the flags that you do, and any other particular things that are tied in with the parade?
Into the parade. No, it's kind of tricky to distribute that many flags and keep abreast, staying in the line of march.
Right, you have.
And we've been doing this for well over 30 years. We do have a vehicle, 2 vehicles that hold the flags. Okay. And Korea's.
So you're sort of, because
we're marching, but handing.
I'm marching with another group, so I've never seen you for a number of years now.
they flock to us. They just flock to us, the kids. But it's a.
They see you coming and says, "Oh, there's the flag car, and those are the flag guys, and can I have a flag?" And that kind of thing.
Well,
okay.
The numbers. I mean, 5,000 a year. Some years were 6,000. Some years were 4,000. It's well over 75,000 flags over the last 30 years. But that's just one program in the American Citizenship Committee there.
Right.
Am I on here?
Yeah, you're on.
I've got preparations here. I don't have much time to talk about what I like to say so much. But anyways, we're a service club, 68 years old, and one of many in the state of Connecticut. There are over 30 exchange clubs in Connecticut and hundreds nationally. Our programs of service are many. However, they all follow 3 categories. There are 3 major categories for programs of service in the Exchange Club, and they are community service, youth, and American citizenship. All of our programs fall under those 3 categories. But of course, our major focus is the prevention of child abuse. Now, under the American Citizenship Committee, I happen to be chairperson of that committee. It's patriotism and Americanism that is promoted. And under that committee, the programs are Give a Kid a Flag to Wave, that's one, which was just described by David. Right. There is the So Proudly We Hail program, notice the names, which is honoring people, businesses in the greater Danbury area, not just Danbury, that pay respect and honor it by flying the flag every day with a light at nighttime and so forth. That program has been completed well over 100 times. There are quite a few people who have received a beautiful plaque, the So Proudly We Hail plaque. Back in 1976, the bicentennial year, the National Exchange Club went on to promote American citizenship, to promote patriotism. It was the bicentennial year. So there were 2 new programs instituted at that time, and they were So Proudly We Hail and Give a Kid a Flag to Wave. Veterans Night. Now, Veterans Night is quite an event. Veterans Night began approximately right about the time I joined, and there were 3 senior members at that time who formulated it and got that thing going, and they were Frank Stone, Carl Burdick, and Lee Connor. and they're not with us anymore. Great Americans. 1976 also saw the implementation of the other programs that I spoke to you about, Give a Kid and So Proudly. But the very first veterans programs that we had 35, 40 years ago were mainly to honor and pay respect to World War I vets. And we had maybe 8 or 10 in Danbury, and they were brought to one of our meetings, usually in the early November, close to Armistice Day, and were honored and respected, and we played Pershing's March for music, and it was a beautiful program. But then all of a sudden, the World War I vets, especially the old 8th Company in Danbury, just faded away, as MacArthur said. And there were only 2 left that were over 100 years old, and we had a special night for them. And those 2 men were Andy Guglia and Tom Dyer, and they were the last 2 survivors of the old 8th Company. So after that, the committee decided, hey, this is a beautiful program. Let's keep going. Let's honor veterans from World War II, which we did. And after that, a few years, well, there was the Korean War, and Vietnam War, and the Desert Storm. So
They have a war every 20 years.
and we found out that these veterans need recognition.
Right.
Now, how would this be done? How would we do this? So at first, each member was asked to bring a veteran guest, but each year was centered around a particular era, a war or a theater, and it expanded into our committee saying we need to have a certain theme for this program. What is our theme? So we started out with the unknown veteran, the unknown soldier. And we said, well, there's Uncle Mike, who we don't know, but he was at the Battle of the Bulge. And Mr. Jones lives next door. And when I go to his house, he has medals. These are people that don't come right out and say they served, the unknown vet. So their names were brought forth, and we started honoring the unknown vet. And that was our theme, the unknown. Then we changed our theme to the veteran who serves and returns home and continues service. Now that's quite a situation, especially now. There are so many returning veterans coming and going back over and serving and coming back and continuing service. So that's our theme now, honoring veterans who have served, men and women, all the branches, and come back and continue service, whether it's coaching or working in their church or whatever. Each year, the average number of veterans that we honor is between 6 and 7 or 8 different veterans. It's a formal program. Each honoree is introduced and described, their service is described, and each one is presented with gifts, memorabilia, citation, certificate.
Is this done during the course of the year? In other words,
This is done. I was going to get to that. It's only this program is a formal program right around Veterans Day, November 11th.
Okay,
at that time.
Okay.
Many dignitaries have come. I mean, we've had Senator Blumenthal many times because of his son being in the service. And the mayor always comes with a citation, and Bob Godfrey comes, and Mike McLaughlin comes, and they just honor us and do wonderful things with citations. Yeah. Now, there are 6 veteran organizations in Danbury, and all put together they are called the Veterans Council. And they do wonderful things too. And all